And now, Death Valley Days. Howdy, folks. I'm the old ranger, and I have another interesting true story for you about the historic Death Valley country. Some folks are born gamblers, and Abraham Curry was one of them. His family used to say that the first words Abe ever uttered was, "I betcha." And 43 years later, which is when we meet him, he is known as the man who'd bet on anything. This is Abe Curry's latest gamble, a tract of land called Eagle Ranch in the valley that lies just east of the Sierra Nevada mountains. For it, he has paid out the few $100s he had to his name. And now, in September of 1858, Abe Curry has hired a surveyor, Jerry Long, from a settlement up the valley to lay out a town site on this land.
You can laugh, but within 10 years, this town will be as big as Sacramento. I'll lay you a bet.
I've got no money to bet. So you pay me what you owe me for this survey.
I was wondering how you'd like to accept some town lots as a fee.
Town lots? Here? Thanks. I'd rather have cash.
I'll give you a whole block of land. Best block in town. The one that runs along the south side of the plaza. Be mighty valuable. Right next to the Capitol building.
The what?
I haven't told anybody else yet, Jerry. Not even my wife. But I look to see this town the capital of the territory someday.
Capital of Utah? Never.
I didn't say Utah. Nevada.
Well, there is no such territory.
There will be. They're talking of dividing Utah, making a separate territory of this western half. And when that happens, this town will be the seat of government.
This town? This unfenced ranch? This bunch of stakes?
I bet you.
I suppose it'll be called Currytown in honor of yourself.
No, sir. I'm going to name it for the first white man who ever explored this valley. Kit Carson back in 1833. I'm going to call it Carson City.
Block 3, J. Musser. Price, 1 pair of boots. Block 5, F.M. Proctor. Price, 25 pounds butter. Lot 14, the Reverend Mr. Bateman. Free.
Years ago, there weren't enough folks here to make up 3 sets of the dance. And guess what the population of Carson is now, Marianne? 701 souls.
Does that include our family?
Well, of course.
I just wondered, living so far from town.
It's only a mile. What's a mile?
It's 5,280 feet, that's what it is. Every step of it, mud in the winter and dust in the summer.
I've been intending to get you a rig to drive back and forth in.
It's Elvira I'm sorry for. Poor child. No playmates.
The rate Carson's growing, it'll soon spread out here.
I simply can't understand why, when you had a whole town site to choose from, you built a house a mile away.
I didn't build this. I won it.
You what?
I won it on a bet.
Abe Curry, you never told me.
Didn't I?
You just wrote me you had a nice house ready and for me to come out and join you.
What did you bet on, Papa?
The number of beans in a glass jar.
Will you never give up betting?
Not as long as I win.
It's a vicious habit, and someday it'll be your downfall.
So far, I'm doing all right. For you, Marianne, go buy something for yourself. Something real pretty and frivolous.
You are good to me. A shiny $20 gold piece.
I know where Papa got that.
Fresh from the San Francisco Mint.
He wanted in church that Sunday.
In church?
Betting on how long the preacher would talk.
Abraham Curry, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Well, I had to do something to keep awake. I'm going into Carson. See about getting a horse and buggy for you.
Whoa.
Jerry Law. I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays.
I'm working up in Virginia City, doing surveys.
Will they pay you in town lots?
Don't have to. Those folks have got gold.
You should have taken me up on my offer, Jerry. Those lots along the south side of the plaza are worth real money.
I still don't see a Capitol building there.
You will someday.
Abe Curry, the prophet.
There's a petition before Congress now to set this off as a separate territory.
With Carson as its capital.
And that'll follow. We've already got an opera house and a telegraph line to San Francisco.
And pigs running around loose in the street.
One little pig. One little whoosher.
Little? You call that porker little? Weighs a good 60 pounds.
Not over 46 pounds. I bet you.
I know hogs.
Well, what'll you bet?
Anything you like.
This horse and buggy?
This horse.
Against those town lots along the plaza.
Taken.
Sonny, let me borrow your ticket. $40. $45. $46.
I'll be darned. You win.
Thanks. Nice rig for a lady. Here you are, Sonny. By the way, you needn't mention to Mrs. Curry how I came by it.
Peter.
Governor Nye, welcome to Carson City.
And you are Abram Curry. Oh, a fellow New Yorker, I believe.
Fellow Nevadan, sir.
Huh? Oh, yes. Oh, allow me to introduce our Territorial Secretary of State, Mr. Clemens.
Any relation to Mark Twain?
His brother.
I regret that Carson City has no brass band, though we'd have had it out to greet you, gentlemen.
Well, all we'd like at this point is a bath.
Well, I'll take you down to Warm Springs, a little resort I'm developing near here. The water's wonderful.
Well, that sounds most refreshing.
And tonight, Mrs. Curry and I hope you'll do us the honor of dining with us at our home.
We'd be honored. Thank
We'd
you.
be delighted.
My buggy is this way.
As editor of the Territorial Enterprise, I'm interested to know, Governor, just where the capital of Nevada is to be located.
Well, that, Mr. Goodman, is one of the reasons why Mr. Clemens and I are making this tour through the territory.
Virginia City is the fastest growing town in the territory.
Carson City doubled its population in a year.
And Carson City was designed as a capital, as Mr. Long should know. He surveyed it. You saw the plaza, the wide streets.
But no building big enough to house the legislature.
We convene in a couple of months.
You can use the building at Warm Springs. I'll be glad to let you have it, rent-free.
You're very generous. But unfortunately, we need more than one room.
The Senate and the Assembly meet separately, you see.
We can run a curtain across the middle of the room and divide it in two.
By George, we could.
I'll lay a plank road out to Warm Springs and run a horse car line to carry the legislators back and forth. Free for nothing.
You have the answer for everything, haven't you?
If you want a thing bad enough, Governor, nothing's impossible.
Very well, we'll accept your offer.
Thank you, Governor.
But for the first session only. Where we settle permanently, that's another question.
If you're in Carson in 61, you'll be here in 62 and in 63. I bet you.
What'll you bet?
Abram, that was my wedding present to you.
Don't worry, my dear. It's perfectly safe.
What edifice is this going to be?
A public building.
Senate chamber, assembly. Hey, you've had instructions from the governor?
No, just going ahead on my own. How do you like the sandstone? From my own quarry. There's enough out there to take care of all the government buildings in Carson City.
If, as, and when it becomes a permanent capital.
I'm betting that it will be.
Why? Because you got a drag with the governor?
It's the legislature that decides, and I'm seeing to it that they're nice and comfortable here while they're making up their minds.
You never miss a bet, do you, Abe Curry?
Let's say I always aim to make my bets come true.
What's the news? Assembly voted for moving the capital to Virginia City. The Senate is tied.
This will break Abe's heart. Those legislators sitting here for 3 years in a building he presented to.
Looks pretty good for Virginia City, but we haven't got it yet. There's still half the Senate holding out against the move.
If it goes through, it'll be the first bet Abe Curry ever lost.
Abe, you're the only man in Carson who can break the Senate deadlock. Swing the opposition over.
Is that what you're asking me to do?
Virginia City has the population, it has the wealth.
Oh, I don't deny that.
I know how you feel about Carson. You founded the town. But we'll see to it that you lose nothing by the move. We'll guarantee you a contract to erect all the state buildings up there. And the stone from every one of them will come from your quarry.
It ain't necessary to bribe me, Joe Goodman.
Don't misunderstand me now. I simply meant that, well, I know you would hope to put up the buildings in Carson.
Not so much for the money in it as the honor. I love Carson City.
Isn't Nevada more important than Carson City?
Sure.
Well, then do what's best for the state. Give your consent to have the capital move to its biggest and richest center.
Very well. Here's my hand on it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'll inform the delegation.
Now, shall we turn around and go back? It's getting late. It'll be dark by the time we reach Carson.
I can't tell you how grateful I am to you, Mr. Curry.
Look, yonder, the town. Caught in the sunset.
Looks like it was on fire, doesn't it?
Buildings of shining gold.
Funny what tricks the sun can play.
Sir, release me from my promise. I can't keep it.
What? Mr. Curry!
I'm the father of that town. I brought it to life. I watched over it, helped it to grow. I can no more forsake it than I could forsake my own children.
It really means that much to you?
If I use my influence against Carson, I'll feel like a traitor for the rest of my life.
In that case, I can do nothing but respect your wishes. I release you from your promise.
Thank you, sir.
The legislature's taking another poll tomorrow.
Let's hope for everyone's sake they settle the matter quickly.
You better go to bed, Elvira. It may be hours before there's any news.
Oh, it can't take 'em much longer.
I've heard of juries that were hung for days.
This isn't a jury, it's a state legislature. State. Sounds funny, doesn't it?
How many states does that make altogether, Papa?
39.
Time for bed, Elvira. Come on. Scat.
Oh, Mama, please.
Oh, let us stay up. We'll be hearing soon. I bet the word comes within 30 minutes. I bet you.
Oh, Abe.
Now, Mary Ann. What did I tell you?
The deadlock's broken. They voted to stay. Carson City is the permanent capital of Nevada.
Why, luck's held, Mary Ann.
This means you can go ahead with all your plans.
What plans are those?
For the public buildings I've always dreamed about. Way back when this was just a town on paper, I planned them. There'll be a Capitol building on the plaza, made of stone, with a shining dome. And across from it, a courthouse. And on a block I set aside in town, a building that Nevada needs for all the gold and silver taken from its mines. A branch of the United States Mint. And last but not least,
A firehouse.
All right, Elvira. Watch out you don't spill it all over your dress now. Go on.
I christen thee the Curry Engine.
Imagine they're electing me foreman of the engine company, Marianne, and naming it after me.
I don't know why not. After all, you built the engine house, you donated the engine, and you even supplied all the uniforms.
They elected me in perpetuity, Marianne, for as long as I live.
Darling, I really believe you're more pleased to be foreman of this engine company than being director of the Carson City Mint.
Sure I am. A mint job, that's just a political appointment from Washington. This is an honor conferred on me by the citizens of Carson. Hello, Jerry.
Hey, Mrs. Curry, Elvira.
Down to Carson for the celebration?
Is this the best the capital of Nevada can afford?
What do you mean?
This spavined little tea kettle.
Well, I'll have you know that's the famous Knickerbocker engine of San Francisco.
And just rechristened in Father's name.
A hand pumper.
And plenty of men proud to pump it.
You should see what we just bought for Virginia City. The newest thing in steam engines.
I'll take an engine that's already proved itself. Got a fine record of firefighting.
Ours can establish a record any time it wants to.
I'll lay you a little bet.
Abe,
I bet you can't run your fancy new engine for 12 hours straight.
How much you put up?
$100?
Take it.
Done.
Hey, you boys from Virginia City. Abe Curry here has just bet me $100 that our engine can't keep going for 12 hours without stopping.
I'll take on every one of you.
You're on. I'll lay you another 100.
Take it. Joe Goodman of the Territorial Enterprise, another $100. Write it down, Myra.
Mr. Goodman, $200.
Abe, that cleans out your bank account.
Then I'll start on personal property. I'll put up my team of horses. Write it down, Myra.
Papa, team of horses.
10 shares of stock in the Gould and Curry mine against 8 off Cone store and fixtures.
10 shares stock.
One at a time, gentlemen. One at a time. I'll take every bet.
Abe Curry will be ruined.
Oh, I can't back out now, my dear.
When is this contest going to take place?
6 o'clock tomorrow evening in Virginia City.
Let her go! Wouldn't you ladies like to go inside where you'll be more comfortable? This is going to be an all-night affair, you know.
Thank you. We want to watch.
There'll be nothing to see for the next 12 hours, for what you're seeing now.
Maybe.
Well, drink up, boys.
Engine purring away like a kitten.
Yeah, and it'll keep going, too.
Sure will.
You know, that thing will never going to stop.
Poor old Abe. This is one bet he's going to lose, fellas.
Keep her going slow. We've still got 8 hours to go.
All right.
What's the matter? Give her more steam.
What's as hot as it can get?
Here, use this.
Bacon.
That'll do it.
Why don't you go on home and get some sleep, honey? It may be the last good night's sleep you'll get.
Abe, you didn't bet our double bed.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised you didn't bet Elvira and me.
You're the only things I have left. I've bet everything else I own in this world. Marianne, it's beginning to weaken. Hear that? She's giving out.
Keep on firing, boys. Don't give up. Put on more bacon.
No, you fool! Bacon caused the trouble. Fill the boiler flues with soot.
It's shaking like it had chills and fevers.
This is terrible. It can't be.
Quite a haul.
Not to mention the animals outside that'll have to be fed.
What are you going to do with the stuff, Papa?
Oh, it'll come in handy.
You mean the next time you want to bet something?
There's going to be no next time. Promise me, Abe, this is the finish.
You're right, Marianne. Why should I press my luck when I've already got everything a man could wish for? Home, family, and the greatest little capital in the United States. I solemnly swear I'll never bet again for as long as I live. So help me.
Oh, Abe, darling.
Now, Papa, you know very well you'll never be able to keep such a promise.
Want to bet?
If you ever get hold of a silver dollar with the letter CC on it, which are rare nowadays, you'll know that it came from the Carson City Mint. Built by Abraham Curry, the father of Carson City. A man who believed you could make anything happen if you care enough. And proved it.